Am I saying pre-ordering anime figures leads to regrets? Yes, absolutely, due to the nature of the figures I collect in general. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven, today with a very interesting topic to discuss with you guys. It has to do with anime figure pre-orders. We are now in February, and a lot, if not all of your favorite YouTubers out there, content creators in general, may have already made a video sharing about their anime figure pre-orders in year 2023, how many figures they pre-ordered and what they are very excited about. This is a very important topic in the sense that is how we get to know each other, like what do you like, what are your favorite characters or favorite series. That is how we get to know each other better, through our taste in anime figures. However, until today, I have not made a single video sharing what my anime figure pre-orders are, and now that you have seen the title of this video, you have gotten your answer. So to this video, the purpose is to explain to you guys why I rarely, if ever, pre-order anime figures, and what are my strategies, my ways of keeping track of the things I want, so that I will be able to grab them shortly after release, at a discounted price usually. However, there are always a few rare exceptions. These three figures made it into my exceptions list. I pre-ordered them. I will elaborate on the reason why later on, but in short, they are important for the future of this channel as a whole. So here we go. The first reason why I don't pre-order my anime figures, it is my way of planning my budget. You see, the thing with anime figures is that they are very unpredictable. They can release on time, they can be delayed for 1 month or maybe 3 months or even 8 months. They are completely unpredictable. So this is where the problem starts. Sometimes you have your budget very carefully planned. You have 2 or 3 or 5 scale figures precisely coming out every month. You plan everything in advance, only for delays to happen, and then you will have 2 or 3 months with no figure releases at all, and then suddenly every single figure pre-order are being dumped into one single month. Maybe you have 3 figures in January, 3 in February, and 3 in March. All 3 were delayed, and then you will have 9 figures coming out in the same month in May. So this is where the problem starts. The first problem is that sometimes when you have no figures coming in the mail at all for 1 whole month, 2 whole months, then there is an urge where you want to buy something new because you haven't had anything new for a month or 2. You go out and spend that money which you have saved up for these pre-orders, and then later on when the figure pre-orders come out in May or later, 9 figures in one single month, and you are unable to afford all of it because the money which you are supposed to save up, you spent it on something else, at least a portion of it. So this is my way of controlling my temptation not to spend my money elsewhere when I have figures pre-orders coming out in the following month. And all of that is due to delays, thanks to delays. The second problem with all these delays is that when you have multiple figures that are being released in the same month as a result of the delay, you might have an urge to combine ship all of them in order to save on shipping cost, which is normally a very wise move. However, the problem lies in the taxman, the customs department in your own country. So in my country, at least in Malaysia, normally it is not a wise thing to combine more than 2 figures in one single parcel. So what happens is that when the parcel arrives at the customs department and the parcel is so huge, there are multiple items in it. Even though they are meant for personal consumption, you are not doing business, you are not selling them. They don't care. They will assume that you are trying to profit off those things you imported from overseas. They will tax you. And we all hate taxes. We want to save money whenever we can, which is why we want to minimize the risk of getting taxed. And one way to do so is to keep your parcel as small as possible. We don't want multiple items in one single parcel. In Malaysia, at least, the tax man is not very friendly to us. Anything beyond $130, there is a very high chance that you will get taxed anyway. The total value beyond $120. However, sometimes the customs, they do turn a blind eye, and we want to bet on that chance where they give us a slip where we don't have to pay taxes. This is only 1 or 2 items. This is meant for personal use. They just let things pass. So combining multiple figures in general is a really bad idea, especially for my country, which is why I want to avoid having many figure releases in 1 month and combining all of them. Of course, you can always split your parcels. Maybe don't ship 6 figures in one single box. You split it to 2 or 3 boxes where you don't save as much in shipping. But nonetheless, if all of these 3 parcels arrive at the customs office within the same day, you are still screwed anyway. Which is why I don't like having too many figure pre-orders coming out within the same month and shipping them together in general. The second reason why I don't pre-order anime figures, because to me, placing a pre-order equals to having a debt. The more figures you pre-order, the more debts you have. But what are you talking about, Steven? Why do you call figure pre-orders a debt? If you don't want it later on, you can just cancel it. But that is the thing, I don't cancel my pre-orders whenever I can. I don't like to break promises. If you are a business owner who has taken a lot of figure orders from your customers only for them to bail out later on, so you have a lot of excess stock which you are unable to sell but you have already paid for them, would you like that? Of course not, right? So I don't like to break promises when it comes to buying things. If I order something, 99% I am going to stick with it and buy it after the figure comes out. The very act of breaking a promise after ordering a figure but cancelling it later, in Chinese we call it fang fei ji, in Cantonese they call it feng fei gei, in Hokkien they call it bang pui ki. In English, a direct literal translation would be flying an aeroplane, which means breaking a promise. I don't like to do that to people in general. That is just me, by the way. The third reason why I don't pre-order anime figures is kind of related to the second reason on not breaking promises. Sometimes you have unexpected expenditures. Maybe your car broke down, maybe you had an accident, maybe you have a leaking roof in your house during rain that you have to spend some money on fixing it. And as a result, you overspend your budget, you can no longer afford the pre-orders you placed, you had to cancel the pre-order. And given my own nature where I don't like cancelling pre-orders, I would rather avoid having to face this kind of problem where I might overspend due to unavoidable circumstances. I decided not to pre-order anime figures most of the time. The fourth reason, perhaps the most important reason why I don't pre-order anime figures, is because I want to avoid regrets. Wait, am I saying pre-ordering anime figures leads to regrets? Yes, absolutely. Due to the nature of the figures I collect in general. Let me show you guys an example over here. This figure of Saber Mordred by Good Smile, she was released for around 24,800 Japanese yen. Though if you pre-order it early on Ami for example, you might be able to get her for 22,000 yen maybe. You get a nice 5 to 10% discount. And if you think you have saved some money from pre-ordering it early, you are very wrong about it, because I got her for 17,000 yen after release. Yes, I waited for maybe 2 months after release and then I got her off from Amazon Japan, 16,800 yen only. Yes, the shipping is a bit pricey because it is DHL, but DHL is the best courier out there, best service, so I don't mind paying for the shipping if I can get it fast and safe. So you see, there is almost 30% of saving to be had if you just wait a month or two after release before buying a figure. Of course, this is dependent on what figure you're pre-ordering. If you collect Fate Grand Order like I do, it is a very bad idea to pre-order, especially if the character is a very popular one. Saber, Mordred, Marsh Kirillite, Ares Kigal, just to give you guys a few examples, popular characters don't pre-order. Do you know why? Because the figure companies behind these figures, they know these characters are popular. So they respond by overproducing these figures. There are too many inventory out there, overproduction. And what happens is that when there are too many stock, yet the demand isn't there, the value is going to plunge, it is going to go down. This figure by QuestQ, for example, this Marsh Kirillite Ortenos version, 27,000 yen, because QuestQ probably believe that Marsh Kirillite is very popular, even though Ortenos version is not very popular, and as a result, the value dropped like mad. You can find this version of Marsh Kraylight for 14,000 yen pre-owned, a new one 18,000 to 20,000 yen. I got mine for 18,000 yen from Mandarake. Brand new, unopened by the way. So that is a whole 30% of savings over there. This figure of Ashkiga by Max Factory, I got it off Amazon Japan for 14,000 yen. Which is really crazy. 14,000 yen for such a high quality scale figure by Max Factory. So you see the problem over here? Pre-ordering these figures will only lead to regret where you paid more than necessary for these figures. However, this advice is not applicable for every figure, of course. For example, if you are into collecting X-rated figures, figures by Skytube, by Native, and so on, these are the kind of figures you need to pre-order early because you can rarely find them in stock after release. So it really depends on what you collect as a figure collector. For figures made by Good Smile especially, and even FGO, I won't pre-order early. I'll wait for after release and look for deals. So this is perhaps the most important reason why I don't pre-order anime figures in general. I'm just trying to be wise with spending my money over here. Now let's discuss about the 3 figures which were exceptions. I pre-ordered these figures for 2023, going against my normal rule of not pre-ordering. The first one over here is this 1x7 scale figure of Xiao from Genshin Impact. This one is by Apex. The second figure that I pre-ordered early is this figure from Blue Archive by Max Factory. Yes, I did pre-order this one early. Well, it was kind of impulsive back then, but I don't think I regret pre-ordering this one. The third one is this figure of Baltimore racing version from Azalane. She is made by Apex Toys as well. These are my only 3 figure pre-orders for year 2023. So what is it so special about these 3 figures that made me pre-order them? The short answer is return on investment. So you see, as a content creator, as a YouTuber, I want to be able to get my figures as early as possible, especially those that I predict will become very popular after release. I want to be one of the earliest, one of the first to obtain the figures so that I can review them as quickly as possible, maybe be one of the earliest to review the figure. That is the whole point of it. And I have connections, I have contacts in a way where I am able to obtain Chinese brand figures way earlier than the official international release date. If you check out my Keqing figure review back then, that is my most popular figure review on this channel. People were asking, how am I able to get the figure so early and review it when she is not even out yet? That is the thing. I have a way of acquiring Chinese brand figures earlier than the official international release date. So I want to take advantage of it to grow my channel into a larger channel. I think that is what every YouTuber wants, to see their channel succeed, and that is my way of doing it. However, Max Factory is not a Chinese brand, so why did I pre-order it? Admittedly, part of it was rather impulsive. I was very attracted to the figure that I jumped ahead. I jumped the gun and pre-ordered it. I remember seeing her being the best selling figure in Ami for the week, the most pre-ordered figure. And after thinking twice, I thought, this figure is very attractive and there are no other figures of this character from Blue Archive yet. Maybe I should get it early. So I pre-ordered one. That was the only reason, which sounds kind of stupid, but it is what it is. I do expect that figure to be rather popular after release as well. So the main point over here is that, yeah, I'm trying to grow my channel and I go for figures which have the biggest potential to help me grow as a YouTuber. Now for the last part of today's video, how do I keep track of all of the figures which I did not pre-order but want to purchase, right? So every figures that I want but I did not pre-order, I will add them to the wish list in my personal profile in myfigurecollection.net, but that alone is not enough. What I would do is, I would subscribe to the figure thread itself. For example, this figure right here, if you scroll down and on the right side, yeah, this section right here, if you click on the bell button over there, it means that you are subscribed to this particular figure. This is what my notifications look like in my MFC account, and as you can see, I am being updated, being informed of every single release date change for every figure I am subscribed to. How convenient is that? Why is nobody using this severely underrated feature? I have no idea, but you really should. Of course, this feature is not perfect. MFC does not have Chinese brand figures, some of them. So those kind of figures, yeah, you really need to remember on your own. But other than that, this is a very powerful feature you should be using if you are a user of MFC, you are a member over there. And that concludes today's video on why I don't pre-order my anime figures. So what do you think about my strategy on buying anime figures? Let me know down in the comments below. Are you the type who buy figures after release, or do you pre-order early anyway? Just to have a peace of mind, you know, I can understand that concept, that logic over there. And if you enjoyed this video today, I would really appreciate a like on this video and subscribing to this channel for more anime figure content. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you guys again very soon. Goodbye.